Well, that absolutely sucked. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Central. Today we are going to recap Game 60 of the regular season. I know this is going up a day late, and I do apologize for that, but I was just so pissed off from this game yesterday that I honestly decided to just even take a step back and just let myself reflect more before I just lose my mind about something that, in the grand scheme of things, I shouldn't, because of the fact that this team is still not healthy. But at the same time, there's got to be a point where guys step up. There's got to be a point where guys are playing better. And there is just too many black holes right now with this roster, with this team. And I do think there is some sort of truth. And there is, I shouldn't even say think. I know there is truth to the fact that Tibbs is running these guys into the ground and it's affecting their play. Josh Hart playing 47 minutes last night. Gross. And it's not because he played bad that I'm saying gross. I'm saying gross because it's way too many minutes for these guys at this point, because you're not getting any sort of production off of the bench from these guys whatsoever. Precious Achiuwa stunk last night. Alec Burks stunk last night. Nothing new there lately. Bojan Bogdanovic stunk last night. And that trade's looking more and more garbage as the days go on. And Bojan's been okay. Like, there's been games where he's been good, and then there's games like last night where he has done nothing. And then Alec Burks, I mean, he has just stunk in general. I don't really recall maybe like one game at this point that he's really been a plug for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, he put up the stats last night, but let's be honest, there were some times where between last night and the Detroit game, he has kind of just looked, and the New Orleans game even too, where he's just looked kind of out of place. And I don't know if it's because of the injury or what, but there's been some sort of, I don't know what the word I want to use is for this, because again, I don't want to take away from what Brunson's doing. He's filling the stat sheet. He's been playing good and we know what he can provide, but he has been, like, it just looks like the team sometimes is worse with him on the floor, honestly, which is just weird to say because of what he's been providing all season long. And again, this is not me pointing the finger at Jalen Brunson in particular, because there's way more guys that need to step up, but it feels like maybe it's just me being blinded by the fact that he wasn't drawing as many fouls and he's diving on the floor all game. And, you know, you're seeing him hit the floor, and it was a very physical game too. That's another thing. You got guys bleeding. Dante DiVincenzo just starts bleeding in the middle of this game from his nose because he takes a hit to the face. I mean, there's a lot with this game, but before we jump further into everything, leave a like on the post game here if you do enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Knicks fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. But again, like, this game was just chaotic. I mean, the Knicks start off terrible. There was, I think they went up 14-0 Golden State to start the game. The Knicks all of a sudden claw their way back in and towards the end of the first quarter, but it wouldn't really even be enough. And I did want to like read exactly what happened, because I was writing down, you know, what happened. Yeah, they had an 11-2 run to like end the quarter there. Josh Hart stepped up big. He did that a lot throughout this game. Second quarter rolls along, and it took halfway through the quarter, by the way. It took halfway through the second quarter for the Knicks to get their first transition bucket of the game. Their first transition bucket of the game. They were horrible in transition all night. Gross. Warriors, they went on an 8-0 run all of a sudden. As the Knicks did have like a decent start to the quarter, and then all of a sudden, Warriors pull ahead further because of an 8-0 run. Then the Knicks had another 11-2 run because the game was just absolutely weird, and the transition game was just killing them. Then the second half comes along, and the Knicks had a slow start to the third quarter, but then they have another big run. I think it was a 13-2 run, and the game started to get close, but again, there was no getting back in the game. Jericho Sims was getting dominated all night long, and you look at the stat sheet, it didn't look like he played bad, but Kuminga just absolutely bodied him all night long and just had way too easy of a night. Steph Curry hitting every single freaking shot, it felt like, making 8 threes. Just ridiculous. Klay Thompson draining 4 threes in the game. Just cannot happen. And then Dante DiVincenzo, he was a high volume shooter yet again, going 2 for 12 though from downtown. He needed to hit more shots. Brunson was efficient from downtown, going 4 for 7. He was good from the field, going 11 for 25. Again, like Jalen Brunson, it's weird to say that things fell off with him in this game, because you look at the stat sheet and it tells you he played a good game, but things did feel off. And then don't even get me started with Bogdanovic and Burks. Like I said before, they were supposed to be spark plugs off of the bench, and that was supposed to help this team. They have been nothing but the ass opposite so far. Burks only logging 11 minutes. Can't happen. You need way more of an impact from Alec Burks, and I know you can't expect much from him, but that's what the idea was when they trade for him, is that there was going to be some sort of impact here. Has not been that. Bojan Bogdanovic logging under 20 minutes. I don't know what to say. And then Achua didn't get a lot of action because he wasn't really good in this game as well. I don't know. And then Hartenstein too played this game, and his impact was felt early on. Like, him and Achua were blocking a lot of shots there early on in the game, having some big impacts defensively, but he's not logging a lot of minutes because he's not playing at 100%. It's just the same story night in and night out with this team, that, you know, injuries are killing them and guys have to play too many minutes because the bench isn't given enough of an impact. Deuce McBride had a very good impact though in this game. It was nice to see him look good in this effort, but again, it doesn't matter because Bogdanovic he went 0 for 7 from the field, went 0 for 4 from downtown. His only points in this game came from the free throw line. That's not good enough. Not good enough. Alec Burks, 2 for 6 from downtown, 1 for 3, or 2 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from downtown. Don't know what to tell you. Do not know what to tell you. That just simply is not good enough. Just simply is not good enough. And along the boards, like outside of Josh Hart, there was really a lack of, they weren't getting a lot of rebounds, it felt like, all night long. But I digress. They got beat in the paint bad. 58 points for Golden State in the paint. 58. The transition game stunk. It got better later on, but the fact that it took until halfway through the second quarter to get the first transition points of the game, cannot happen. Cannot happen. But I don't know what more there is to say, because I feel like I'm on repeat at this point with this team in terms of the way that things are going, where, what is there to say? I'm watching every freaking dribble for them to get their ass kicked, it feels like, night in and night out, because this team is not healthy. I mean, at least with some good news, OG Anunoby got cleared to start shooting. Isn't cleared for contact yet, but at least he's starting to shoot the basketball, which is very good news, because that means maybe they can get him back, not next week, but the week after. Maybe is not an unrealistic ask. At latest, probably the week after that. So probably looking at, like, I don't know, a mid-March return, hopefully, for him. I don't know what's going to go on with Randall. I mean, it looks like he's been practicing. Mitchell Robinson at least making an appearance every now and then out of the walking boot. But I don't know when it's realistic to ask for him. The next game is Sunday against the Cavaliers. I don't feel great about it. Like, in terms of this team in general, I'm, like, worrying a lot, because I don't want this team to fall down into the play-in. I don't want them to fall into the play-in, and it looked like there was so much promise for this team, and I felt so confident that this team was going to be undoubtedly a top 4 team in the East, especially because Joel Embiid goes down for the Sixers, and then they just looked so dominant in January, and all of a sudden now we're talking about this team being a play-in team potentially. Gross, and it sucks, but this is just the hand that this team's dealt with. This is the hand that the team's dealt with, and there's not much we could really say about it. Not much to say about it anymore, other than you got to hope they can continue to tread water until they're healthy. I mean, if OG Anunoby truly does come back within the next 2-3 weeks, I don't think they're going to fall. I think there's less of a chance they fall to a play-in. I mean, they're not far out of it, though. That's the thing. Like, there's only a 1-win difference between them and the Pacers, who are the 7th seed. And then the Heat are only 2 wins out. Like, it's not unrealistic that it could happen, but they gotta tread freaking water here. They gotta tread water, and again, it's not gonna be easy. They play Cleveland, they play the Hawks, the Magic, and then 2 games against the Sixers. You'd hope that without Joel Embiid, they could win those games, especially because they did beat the Sixers coming out of the All-Star break. But I don't know. It's a shitty hand that they're dealt with, but it just is the nature of it right now. It just is the nature of it. But let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would love to hear from you guys, how you're feeling about this team right now. Are you guys just as annoyed as I am? I'm sure of it. Leave a like if you haven't subscribed. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. I'll see you guys in the next one.